It's almost like walking into a tavern on Game of Thrones or something.
I mean, it was mind-blowing, quite honestly.
I got emotionally charged by it.
A steak that Fred Flintstone would be proud of. This is the meat.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 9 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com.
Redwood Credit Union offers personal and business banking, mobile access, and nationwide ATMs. It's banking for people who call this home and the future we're building together. Redwood Credit Union.
It's the national recognition for healthcare equality. It's 1,000 things, big and small. Sutter Health.
Oakland International Airport. Now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests, and each one recommends one of their favorite spots, and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. This week, Marketing and Communications Director Krista Washington guides us to her spot for affordable lunch with a twist in Oakland. And retired opera singer and operations director Gregory Marks serenades us with a star-studded review of his San Francisco pick. But first, account executive Georgianne Chaptaw explores the rustic cuts of meat, unique and festive cuisine, and vast cocktail program of her San Francisco eatery, Cockscomb.
The name Cockscomb is based on the crest that you find on the head of a rooster. The more predominant the crest on the rooster, the more respect it commanded on the farm. But also it's my initial CC, Chris Cosentino. It's also Capo Como in Italian, which means head chef. That's it. I want it to be right on the top. Cockscomb is a restaurant that's based in San Francisco history. So during the time of, I would say, the Barbary Coast, when they screamed gold, everybody came to San Francisco, and everybody brought with them their culture, their food, their history. Got it on your desk? So when you start to look at the fabric of the food culture here, it's a mix of all those different cultures. You have Portuguese, English, French, Italian, Mexican, Spanish, Chinese, and that's what this restaurant is based upon. Food is a very experiential thing. Right? My goal is to give taste memories, whether it's a graduation, a birthday, an anniversary, an engagement, who you're with, what you're having, and to have that conviviality of when someone comes in, they can sit down in a room that feels comfortable, that has the aroma of wood fire. That's the environment that we're trying to create, where people can just let all their worries go away and enjoy themselves and be in that moment.
Now, Georgianne, Chris Cosentino, the owner and chef, is really into using every part of the animal.
He is, yeah. He's nose to tail. If you know anything about him, that's, his style.
That's right.
What I really love about the restaurant, though, is from the moment you walk in, it's just this great atmosphere. You smell the wood fire burning oven, and everything is really taken delicately and with care. And last time I had this amazing Tombo tuna. Yeah. It had this great presentation of a rice cake on top and herbs on top of that. Kind of take the spoon and whack it, and it breaks open and reveals the essence of the Tombo tuna in there. It has great Thai chili and Vietnamese types of herbs with it as well. It was so delicious.
And when you walk in, I mean, it is an electric kind of place. It's loud.
It's amazing. Yeah. We came through that front door, and I just was like welcomed into this incredibly warm space,
And what did you start with, Gregory?
Well, I'd been studying the Rosalie's tripe, because I grew up with tripe. I grew up, my father was a butcher, and tripe, I have great memories of tripe.
Not a lot of people have great memories. I know. Just saying.
I know, it's so true, but it's the tripe was so tender, and it was in this delicious, very savory tomato sauce, kind of reminiscent of what I grew up with, but it also had chickpeas in it, and they were cooked al dente, and it was perfect. It was really perfect. I loved the tripe. And,
well, you can get tongue there, you can get tripe, you can get,
color.
So what did you start out with, Krista?
So we started with the dirty, crispy potatoes that had a really great sauce, kind of like an aioli that joined with it, which was fantastic, perfectly crispy on the outside and warm on the inside.
Right.
And then we also had the Brussels sprouts, and they came with picked peppers.
Yeah, I've had them. They're really
Those
good.
were so tasty.
And I appreciated it because I think oftentimes with Brussels sprouts now you pair it with cheese or fruit or bacon, and it was kind of nice to have the heat with them. So they were filling, the perfect size, perfect amount.
I have to talk about the grilled cheese. It's
Heaven.
it's like such a simple dish. It was the Taleggio cheese, which is my new go-to cheese. But what made it so special is like this heated honey that was poured over the entire dish with a fried duck egg on top. That was runny, and it was like gooey deliciousness. It was really tasty.
Well, and it's kind of like theater to watch that kitchen
completely.
cooking, isn't it?
is.
And if Chris is there, he's moving the
Completely.
crowd.
It was amazing to watch. Chris, I'm a really huge fan of his.
Very passionate.
Passionate. You see it in all of his cooks.
Right.
And the wait staff, too.
Everybody.
Absolutely.
And
They're so knowledgeable.
what else do you get when you're there?
One thing I really love is the hamburger. It's actually truly made out of pork, which is a nice transition to your typical all beef patty. You know, it really has the shredded lettuce, the Gruyere cheese, caramelized onions, melts in your mouth. It's so juicy and rich. Served with these like crispy wedge potatoes that are so rustic in and of themselves.
I had the bacon chop. Oh my God. I love pork, okay? And I wish I knew
Who doesn't?
I know.
I did. It was huge. I was like going, this is a shareable dish, you know.
Yeah.
The ribs were like in between these two chunks of meat, and they were so moist. I know they brine them in something. I could not finish it, of course. It was just too huge. So I like brought it home so I could suck the meat off those bones in the privacy of my living room. You know?
Although you could just write it home if you did that. And what else did you have, Georgianne?
Yes, I had this amazing pin bone steak. It was to die for. One thing I love, it is marinated and dry aged actually for 28 days. And it comes with a bone marrow dip as well, which adds just a silkiness, nice richness. So good. The pig's head, I think, is something that people go there for all the time. I think they run out almost every night. And it's a little daunting to think about at first, you know, having half of a pig's head on a plate.
This is a meat place,
It's a
right?
meat
If you want to
place.
share a steak that Fred Flintstone would be proud of, this is the meat place,
It
right?
is. It's almost like walking into a tavern on Game of Thrones or something. It's just it's that type of environment.
So what did you have to wash all that pig down?
I had a hot toddy. I had 2 hot toddies. For me, it was the perfect blend of lemon and honey. I also appreciated the addition of anise, little
Complexity,
twist.
certainly, to the cocktails. What about you?
So I just like a good classic, dirty martini to start out with. They do have so many different other drinks, though, that have gin mixed with, a lot of really interesting ingredients.
This place has 100 gins, different gins, and really is known for drinks as well. Very nice wines on the list.
They have late happy hour. They have early happy hour.
Well, now you washed all that down. Did you end it with any desserts?
Oh my gosh, I have a favorite dessert there. I literally will die for this dessert. It's this pineapple. They've cored it out. They take the rings of the pineapple, they put it in the wood fire oven, and they top it with this caramelized, slightly sweet, slightly spicy, almost sugary sauce. And then in the pineapple itself, they have scoops of this coconut ice cream with coconut flakes, a layer of lemon curd, and then topped with meringue and lightly torched. It's seriously the best thing I've ever eaten. It's
I'm hungry.
so good.
I want that too. Well, this is your spot. Wrap it up for us.
It's an amazing place to go for a hearty, rich, really satisfying and creative meal overall.
All right, Krista?
I would say a really warm and cozy environment with incredibly thoughtful service.
And Gregory?
A warm, engaging environment with a really, star chef who's just really passionate about meat.
If you would like to try Cockscomb, it's located on 4th Street at Freelon Street in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-974-0700. It's open for lunch and dinner Monday through Friday and dinner on Saturday. The average dinner tab per person without drinks is around $60. Gregory used to work right down the street from his spot that's just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Opera House in San Francisco. A perfect location for a pre- or post-performance bite. This is Dobbs Ferry.
So Dobbs Ferry takes its name from a small village on the Hudson River in Westchester County, New York.
Dobbs Ferry is a restaurant started in 2011.
Yeah, we took over 2018.
Dobbs Ferry had a name in this neighborhood and people already loved it, so for us it was more about adding to that business. To add our own experience of hospitality and on Steve's side, beverage and sommelier.
And you know, Dobbs Ferry was created as a kind of homage to the family-friendly taverns and pubs that you find in the Northeast.
We like the East Coast concept. We're both originally from the East Coast.
It kind of informs how we're creating all of our menus, whether it's cocktails or having some wines from the East Coast, or even the way Dana, our chef, puts together different dishes.
Our house-made ricotta takes about a day to prepare.
And she's really talented. She's a rebel and she's adventurous, you know. She really puts out a quality product and loves what she does.
We love being part of the Hayes Valley neighborhood.
Yeah, it's great to be up front and greet guests, say hi and welcome them back, you know, be the face that they recognize as you recognize theirs. As a husband and wife team, this is a partnership that we love and cherish.
This is such a unique spot, isn't it, Gregory? Well, it's kind of two spots almost.
You know, I'd been going there for years and not realizing there was a bar attached because it's so quiet on the restaurant side.
Right.
And for a long time, I really wasn't sure what they meant by Hudson Valley meets Hayes Valley, you know, but I think Hudson Valley translates into like bucolic, peaceful, non-complicated.
And really local. You know, in terms of sourcing of ingredients.
Farm to table.
Yeah.
It's my go-to when I'm in Hayes Valley, usually if I'm like at the opera or at the symphony or at the jazz or at Herbst Theater. It's also my go-to. I sing with the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus now. I usually don't drink when I'm performing, but
after you're performing.
But after
because
the performance,
you can
we
go to the bar part
drink.
till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
What is your go-to cocktail and your go-to dish?
my go-to cocktail is an old-fashioned.
Should have guessed.
Well, this time I had the gentleman's old-fashioned, and it was perfectly crafted and made. Actually, it's probably my favorite old-fashioned I've ever had.
When you talk about having a perfectly crafted cocktail there, Steve has crafted some of the best wine programs at restaurants across San Francisco.
So I also had an old-fashioned, and I will say it was one of the best ones that I've had. Just perfectly smoky, and it paired nicely with recommendation from our waiter with a ricotta.
Which is
so
house
you've had,
made.
Oh, my God, yes.
House made ricotta.
Yeah, the lemon just was a perfect pair with it, and there was a beet puree around the outside of it, and there was salty quinoa crackers to go with it. It was fantastic.
What else do you get?
Oh, well, my starters, okay, the tater tots, okay? So,
Hey, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up on tater tots, not the good ones.
It's a great one, and the tater tots are all house-made. They're like these perfect clumps of creamy, like rice potatoes on the inside, with this perfectly crispy outside that not greasy, so savory and tasty and sweet. It hits all the right notes.
All right, meat lover.
I had to go with the chicken liver pate. Delicious. Honestly, it was one of our favorite things that we had. It had this nice richness, creaminess to it, tons and tons of flavor packed in that pate, served with a side of fig jam, which actually just brought out all the different flavors in the chicken liver, as well as some red sauerkraut too, and some crostini, and oof, delicious.
What was another dish that you had, Georgianne?
We had the bone marrow as well as the starter. The one thing I would say about it is it was a little tricky to get into. It was a whole bone kind of straight up. So, and they give you a spoon with it. I think I actually got more on the table than I did on my little piece of bread. But it was served with these caramelized onions that were a really nice pairing with it as well.
You just tipped the bone up.
I know. That was the way to do it.
What else did you have?
The sweet potato agnolotti, which was, I mean, it was mind-blowing, quite honestly. Perfectly pillowy, stuffed with sweet potato, and there were maitake petals pomegranate seeds, their beet chips. Yeah, just sweet and savory, which is one of my favorite types of combinations.
We also had the risotto too, which is actually vegetarian, but it's served with this patty pan squash, some nice Parmesan crisp in it, some pine nuts in it as well. But mainly the main herbs is basil sauce, and it was nice, creamy, rich, delicious, very herbaceous.
Do you get larger dishes when you're
Yes,
there
of
as well,
course.
too?
The entrees, we had the Lano Seco pork loin, perfectly brined, and it's served on a sauerkraut pancake. And you got the perfect balance of like the sauerkraut acid, the sweetness, savory. It was really quite lovely. I had the fried chicken, which is sort of a go-to for me. Mary's fried chicken. Who is Mary, by the way? I see her on lots of menus. I love their fried chicken. I mean, all the pieces were perfectly moist, and the crust is crunchy, savory, and no hint of grease. It just really, really fabulous.
And did anyone have dessert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Krista, take it away.
I had the red wine poached pear that was paired with a smoked almond ice cream. And again, with the sweet and savory, the smoked almond ice cream was so flavorful. And having it poached in red wine was just kind of a perfect balance between the two flavors. So for me, I mean, I could have eaten 3 more of those alone.
What about you? Any dessert? Any room?
We had the donut holes, and they were served with a huckleberry jam. And they were just nice, light, fluffy little donut holes that were kind of laid out beautifully on a plate with some powdered sugar over the top. So they were a nice ending to a rather rich meal.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, they're just really nice puffs of air
Puffs of
deliciousness,
love.
you know. Puffs of love, yeah, I like that.
Now, Gregory, this is your spot. Give us a quick summary.
My go-to for a really nice, mature, quiet, comforting place that serves great farm-to-table richness, fresh, savory, sweet. You get all the points.
And Krista?
I would say it's a wonderful restaurant for sophisticated comfort food that really does a great job of blending sweet and savory.
All right, and Georgianne?
Yeah, I'd say it's a great place to go with friends, a ladies' night. You know, have great conversation. It's nice, airy, light, wonderful food overall.
If you would like to try Dobbs Ferry, it's located on Gulf Street at Hayes in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-551-7700. It's open for dinner every day, brunch on the weekends, and the average meal per person without drinks is around $45. Post your favorite food shots on Instagram with the hashtag Bay Area Bites and have a chance to see your food pics on the show. Krista's Place is a top spot to stop for a casual breakfast or lunch in Oakland. Its Filipino-inspired menu is a local favorite. Named for a revolutionary who fought for independence from Spain, this is Cafe Gabriela.
All right, I'm very hungry.
Cafe Gabriela was named after Gabriela Silang. She is one of the first Filipina revolutionary who fought against the Spanish colonizers. When I was thinking of starting the cafe, I had a lot of fear and I needed inspiration, so she came to my mind. My journey in terms of cooking started out as a need. I moved here from the Philippines. I wasn't able to fix my papers, and I became an undocumented immigrant. One of the first jobs that I landed was a bus person position until I became the head cook. And then I was still undocumented. The mainstream media said that undocumented immigrants steal jobs from US citizens. So yeah, I create my own job.
Did you want anything? You're good? You sure?
I think one of the things that I strive to do
Thank you for being here.
is to be welcoming of everybody that comes in our door. The Bay, especially Oakland, has been good to me. The community has held us.
Enjoy lunch. We'll see you again.
We serve delicious coffee and delicious food, but I think that we make that as a tool to connect with others, and also a form of resistance that we're still here, you know? Like people who said I can't be here as a queer person of color, undocumented, I should be deported and be going back home. but I'm still here.
All right, Krista, talk about how you discovered this spot.
So I moved not too long ago from the East Coast to Oakland. I was working on 9th Street in Chinatown and was looking for a place to pop in before work or at lunch, and walked in and immediately was blown away just by how much it felt so much a part of the community. On the walls, it's covered with trans and cisgendered women and revolutionary art, and I just immediately felt like I was in the right spot. And I've just really appreciated every time I go in there the sense of community that the restaurant brings and kind of welcomes me into my new home.
And do you usually go for breakfast or lunch?
I've gone twice a day at times for breakfast and lunch, but for me, lunch has been the most solid. They have a lunch combo that's half salad and half sandwich. For the sandwich, I get the pulled pork adobo, which is by far, I think, my favorite thing on the menu. Just really, really soft pieces of pork stuffed into a baguette, perfectly moist on the inside of the baguette, but crispy on the outside. And then the salad is really simple, just mixed greens, balsamic vinaigrette, red onions, and tomatoes. They make everything really quick with you in mind, but you never feel rushed.
And you know, I have to tell you, it's like going to Oakland is like a major effort for me because I don't like the Bay Bridge. I mean, I'm
and you live in a city.
I'm a cranky old guy, okay? So it's just, but I
You're acting like going to Oakland is going to you.
And I took part. I got off at 12th Street. I was right in the middle of a protest rally by the Oakland Unified School District teachers. And I had to tell you, I got emotionally charged by it. I was really touched because there were students and teachers there. It kind of set things in motion for me as I got to this cafe. Entering the cafe, the two women behind the counter were just fabulous. I mean, they were just really sweet. They're engaging. It's like, you know that they're so involved in the neighborhood. And I really wanted to get a couple pastries, but they were sold out. I got there like at 11 o'clock, but I had the pork adobo sandwich, and it was I love adobo, and it just had the right balance of moist and fatty, and it was just so tasty with the onions that had been braised, you know, and that baguette was fantastic. But the salad was like one of the best fresh salads I'd had ever. It was just perfectly seasoned, and my dressing had like this hint of garlic in it that just seemed like a lot of heart went into it.
A lot of care and community oriented, as you said. What did you have, Georgianne?
Definitely. I obviously had the pork adobo as well. I think it's a staple there. When you walk in, you talk to people in line with you, and they're all there to get the same thing. I was literally like stuffing pork back into the sandwich because it was just coming out the sides. That's how much they give you. It was delicious, full of flavor. And I actually had the tomato and mozzarella salad and a little balsamic over the top and basil. It was perfect. The mozzarella was fresh. You can tell that they locally sourced it. It was just really good. My friend who I went with actually ended up getting the fried egg sandwich. I tried that. It was really good. Same situation, runny egg coming over the sides. Had some ham and some arugula. That made it a little peppery as well, but still the delicious bread on top. So.
Did you get any of the pastries? Did you make it in for any of the pastries?
I didn't get the pastries. I did get a latte from them though, and it was really good. I think they get Blue Bottle coffee, which is a local favorite. I mean, it was really delicious.
I actually go for the fried egg sandwich as well. So I typically like to go fried egg with arugula and Canadian bacon. So that same kind of runny egg and over the baguette. A lot of their bread comes from the bread workshop in Berkeley, which is nice that it's locally sourced. And the coffee, Blue Bottle, and they also have used Red Bay, which is in Fruitvale.
I will say the staff was amazing. I mean, they don't have a very robust menu. It's pretty simple and you know what you're getting, but at the same time, like the people when you walk in the door are welcoming and friendly and kind of guide you to what you're looking for.
What about the affordability factor?
Very affordable. It's like, I did get brownies. I got those
you
to go.
did? You got something
I did, because
okay.
they were like the last two in the counter. I said, pack those up, okay? So, and I ate them on board on the way home. And they were so moist, and they had chocolate chips in them. They were just so perfectly balanced. But I have to tell you, I met Penny while I was there. I said, what was the genesis of this cafe? And she said 8 years ago she was an undocumented immigrant and was told, you know, create a business that, you know, connect to the community basically. And it's like she's here documented and she's legal, and it kind of spoke really loudly to me.
Yeah, that gives you kind of goosebumps, you know, to hear that kind of success story.
Yeah.
All right, Krista, your spot, give us a quick summary.
An Oakland gym with pulled pork adobo to die for.
And Georgianne?
Definitely great staff, friendly smiles when you walk in, excellent food, done really well with full flavor.
All right, Gregory?
Great neighborhood cafe with a big heart.
All right, if you would like to try Cafe Gabriela, it's located on Broadway in Oakland at 10th. The telephone number is 510-763-2233. It's open for breakfast and lunch Monday through Friday, and the average tab per person without drinks is around $15. I have to thank my great guests on this week's show, Georgianne Shoptaw, who brought us to a place where rustic eats are washed down with great drinks at Cockscomb in San Francisco, Gregory Marks, who introduced his East Coast-styled eatery with California flair, Dobbs Ferry, also in San Francisco, and Krista Washington, who leads the revolution for quality, affordable lunch in Oakland with Cafe Gabriela. We really want to hear about your experiences at any of the restaurants we've been talking about. So keep in touch with us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Or better yet, post your favorite food shots on Instagram at #KQEDfood and have a chance to see your pics on the show. And don't forget that you can watch any of our shows on our KQED website at kqed.org/checkplease. It's where you'll find the links to the restaurants and where you'll find my notes on the wines and libations we're drinking today. So join us next time when 3 more guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sabraco, and I'll see you then. Cheers, everyone.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by Oakland International Airport, now with flights all over the world. iFlyOAK.com.
It's the national recognition for healthcare equality. It's 1,000 things, big and small. Sutter Health.
Redwood Credit Union offers personal and business banking, mobile access, and nationwide ATMs. It's banking for people who call this home and the future we're building together. Redwood Credit Union.
Cooking is the first kind of love you know. It was starting when I was a child, with my grandmother doing fresh pasta, and now I transmit it to all the guests. It's something made specially for them.
Oceana Cruises, proud sponsor of Check Please Bay Area.
Total Wine & More, offering more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. Total Wine & More, now with 9 Bay Area locations. TotalWine.com.